everyone, how are you feeling? It's Eris everyone from TeamNDL, and today I'm giving you guest upload for TeamBigPlays because I'm doing a guest upload for him and he's doing guest upload for me because it's part of something that is called Fusion Month, which is a celebration on my channel for the 3rd anniversary, and he decided that he want to take part of that. So I said why not? Let's do guest uploads for each other. And if you guys want to see the rest of the videos related for them and from other people as well, you can put the tag here, fusionmonthndl, to search it after you watch this video. But without further ado, let's jump right into the deck that I bring for you today, which is Tenyi Invoked. So let's get started. Starting things off, we're running 3 copies of the boy called Ashuna. Ashuna, for some reason, the 3rd copy kind of decided to go away. Ashuna is your pretty much the most important one, I think, out of the 3, because Ashuna is your light, so it's pretty much works with Mikaba quite a bit, and you probably guessed that. And all of the Tenyis search a particular effect which says if you control if you don't control an effect monster, you get to special summon them from the hand once per turn, and then in the graveyard, if you control a non-effect monster, you get the ability to use a particular other effect by banishing them from the graveyard. So in Ashuna's case, you get to banish it to special summon a Tenyi from your deck, but you can only summon a war monster for the rest of the turn. So keep that in mind, because sometimes if you want to summon, for example, Mikaba, you cannot summon for the rest of the turn. So keep that in mind when you use this effect. I'm going to say this: Invoked just uses more of an extension here, and giving you the ability to go better second and better first. But just in mind, if you need to do that, just keep that in mind, that this just stop you from summoning anything else but Worm. Then for the second one, we run 3 copies of Vishuddha. Vishuddha, you banish it, you get to bounce a card your opponent control, which is really nice. Adahara, if you control an effect monster, you can banish it to recycle another worm except himself from your banished pile, which is pretty nice as well. And then it's also a tuner, level 1, which is proved to be really nice. And if you don't see Alistair, it can also be your second normal summon if you have another one in hand and you have 2 of them. Then for the 3 kind of hand traps for Tenyis, those that are work that you can also use their effect from if they're even in the hand or graveyard, you can get to banish them. Because they're kind of supposed to protect your non-effect monster. We have Shathana. Shathana, if your non-effect monsters get destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard to target one of those destroyed monsters and special summon them. Then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, which is pretty nice. It's giving you an additional kind of a payback effect. Doesn't really comes up that much, I guess, depending on the game, but it's just nice to have as a protection. It's another free special summon. Then 3 copies of Nahata. I think it's probably the best one out of the hand traps Tenyis. This one is just if your a non-effect monster is involved in battle, you get to banish it from your hand or graveyard, and then you can target an opponent monster, and that opponent monster that its battles kind of lose 1500 attack, which is pretty nice. So yeah, and you don't have to target. I kind of mistaken for that. The opponent monster lose 1500 attack. The fact that, I said, target is incorrect, just because targeting could not target some monsters, but it doesn't need to target. It's just the monsters that involved with it lose 1500 attack. That is not your monster. Then 2 copies of Mafura. Mafura is your protection from destruction from card effects. You banish it from your hand or graveyard if your non-effect monster will be destroyed by card effect. You get to pretty much negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the card that tried to destroy it, which is pretty nice. And then for the last worm-related monster, we're running 1 copy of Mare, because it's just really good, and it's the card that you want to send to the graveyard with your Foolish Burial of the Archetype. Then for the Invoked card, we're running 3 copies of Alistair the Invoker. I don't think I need to explain this. This one is your normal summon of the deck, because this deck kind of don't really have a normal summon, and this one is just serve as your normal summon. It's also really nice, even if your effect doesn't go off. It's still pretty okay, because it's still a normal summonable monster and just a free body on board. But yeah, just like I said a million of times, Invoke just used here as an additional extension, or just giving you an additional negations or ways to OTK. You don't really 100% need them. It's just giving you an additional more options. And then for the hand traps, the only hand trap, because I'm kind of like making this a going first option, you're on 3 Ash Blossoms. If you're going second, and you know you're going second, you should switch the counter trap, which we will get to it, with, you know, a different hand trap. And that's it for the monsters. Now we'll move on to the spells. First off, let's start with the field spell package. We're running 3 copies of Magical Meltdown to search Alistair the Invoker. Then 1 copy of Flawless of the Tenyi, 1 copy of Set Rotation, and 1 copy of Terraforming. Now these 2 are 2 cards that I'm kind of like, I don't know, depending on the matchup, because if you're playing against another Invoked build, these 2 are really bad, I would say, because you don't want to give your opponent the Magical Meltdown. You could give them this if you have to, and then get the Magical Meltdown yourself. But if you're playing against another Invoked deck, you probably want to switch this. But it's kind of like giving you the option, because let's say you see your Magical Meltdown, you could just, after that, use Set Rotation to see Tenyi and give them another field spell, and kind of like thin your deck by 2, and not seeing dead cards. And just generally like giving yourself a card that can, during your opponent's turn, to draw to you 2 cards, which is really nice. That's it for that. Then we also run 2 copies of Invocation. You don't really need to focus on this one in this deck that much. That's why I'm running only 2, like I explained earlier. The deck itself, like Invocation, a lot, but it's not your main focus. So keep that in mind, because, yeah, if you want to run a 3rd one, you're more than welcome to. I just don't think you need to run a 3rd one. Then for your Foolish Burials of the deck, you run 4 of them, which is the 3 Foolish Burial of the Archetype, which is Vessel for the Dragon Circle, and 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Vessel of the Dragon Circle is Foolish Burial for Worms, and if you control a non-effect monster, you can also add a Tenyi to your hand, which is absolutely amazing. Also, we have another card that's coming out in Rise of the Duelist, which is another kind of a searcher, but this one is also really powerful, and those 2 are probably going to make the deck pretty versatile and useful. Then for the last spell, we're running 3 copies of Cold by the Grave. I just don't want to get hand trapped. And then for the trap itself, because like I said, this is kind of like me of saying like, oh, I'm going first. You want to run 3 copies of the counter trap, which is Unrivaled, because it does help you against cards like Dark Ruler No More, and just generally, it's another layer of protection if you control a non-effect monster. And another thing to note is that this card is not a hard once per turn. So, yeah, sure, it's only negate the activation, but doesn't destroy the monster, or the effect, or whatever, but it does give you the ability to use this more than once per turn, which is pretty nice. That's it for the main deck. Now we'll move on to the extra deck. First off, for the Invoked extra deck monsters, this is kind of still in testing, but I run 1 copy of Caliga, 1 copy of Raijin, 1 copy of Pikachu, and 1 copy of Mikaba. I don't think you need more than 1 copy each. Like I said, you don't really depend on the Invoked engine that much. Mikaba is just nice if you have to go first and you are forced to. Most of the time, you're just going to be able to OTK your opponent's next turn anyway. Pikachu is just helping you for OTKs. Caliga, same idea as Mikaba. It's kind of like another way to, like, if you want to go in a different way for your disruption. And then you have Raijin, which is, Raijin is kind of like debatable. And I kind of like want to switch this to Magnolacia, because you do have more Earths than Winds, and Magnolacia, which is the level 8 Earth one, is also a normal monster, so it could come up, and I'm just not sure, but you might want to run that instead of this, or even the Cocytus, because Cocytus is another kind of like an annoying matchup for like against particular decks like Ultrageist, and just like really hard for them to go over, and it's water, which we also have enough in the deck as well. But that's totally up to you. And then for the Synchros, we run 1 copy of Baxia. and 1 copy of Berserker. This one is really good. You shuffle 2 monsters on board to the deck, which is really cool. And also you can target 1 card you control, and then 1 worm level 4 lower in the graveyard, special summon it, which is really nice. And Berserker is just really nice to have, because it's the synchro that's related to the archetype. And then for the links, we're running 3 copies of Monk. Monk is really important. Yeah, sure, it's a normal monster, but sometimes you want to end the board with this one. Sometimes, and it's really important, you have to run 3. 1 copy of Lantharicus, because you can make Monk and an Invoked, or just any Tenyi and an Invoked Invoker, and then just like get them off board and get a normal monster, which is pretty cool. 2 copies of Shaman, another one that you need to use very carefully, because it does say that your monsters that are not worms cannot really activate their effect, which is okay, I guess. It doesn't really that stop you, but it's sometimes something that you want to keep your eyes on, so keep that in mind as well. Then 1 copy of Draco Masters and 1 copy of Berserker the Link. Pretty important to have those for OTKs and just generally. And then the last one is Borrelor Dragon. This one should be the link for Tenyi. At least one of them you want to play. I just don't have it at the time of this recording, and I'm not sure if Dual Overload dropped yet. But if you have Dual Overload, play that one. I don't remember the name of it, but it's really good. It's giving you the ability to climb quite easily. And it's also, well, giving you a token, which is a non-effect monster. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Check out my channel, and check out the video that TeamBigPlays made on my channel as well. And just, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, I'm going to say that. Remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day, guys, and stay safe. Bye-bye.